In life, there's everything that has a cost. It doesn't make any difference what it is. If you go to the supermarket or if you are going to work and there are deadlines that have to be made and new costs are arising all the time. The one thing that we can say is what we have been looking at is our decisions. And the cost of a new decision is something that we have to take in consideration. I like it, like the lumber yard that I did business with. And I like the can of stain that I enjoyed, that I really, really liked a lot. And I went in one day and I looked on the shelves, and the shelves were filled with one brand. The brand that I had was gone. And so I asked the person that was working in that area, I said, where is this can of stain? And I never believed that they would say, well, we got rid of it. And I looked at it and I thought, wow, they did get rid of it. They no longer have this stain. The company made a decision that no one else wanted but this one stain product. I quit buying some things from them because I just could not believe that they would do something like that. The cost for them was great because each can of stain that they had and paint that they had was $2 to $3 more. Everything has a cost. The question that we have to answer is, are you willing to pay that cost? And so when we start making decisions in our lives, what is going to happen? How is that going to work for me? You have to ask the question, how will this affect me personally? Now, when we make decisions and we're looking forward, we need to figure out some things. Take, for instance, if you're married, if you're in a relationship, and a decision that has to be made, a decision that you want to make it a little bit different. How is it going to affect you personally and the people that are in your home if you're married, if you're in a relationship? How is that going to affect you? I remember a pastor, I'm a Christian, and a pastor decided that they were going to start a new building campaign. They bought the property. They had all the different drawings brought up and everything. And so happened that week he went to an organization that he sat on the board with. And what they were discussing is, who are they going to get to replace the person that just retired? And this pastor looked at him and said, well, we got to do this and this and this. They got to know who we are. They have to know what we stand for. They have to be able to reach out to new students, new faculty members if we're going to grow any. And so as he was saying all these things, their jaw dropped to the ground. And he noticed that no one was saying anything. And so he went quiet. And one of the very close friends of his looked at him and said, "It looks like you have a handle on what we need." And he said, "You may want to take that position." And he said, "Well, there's a lot going on in my life, and I have to talk it over with my wife, and she has to be the one to say, okay. And then we'll make our decision from there." So he got home. His wife had a ministry. All of her family was right there. And with all of the different things that were going on, even she had her own ministry there. And he said, "Well, I'm not sure what's going on there. Matter of fact, they asked me to take over the position." And he figured she would never say what she said. And his wife looked at him and said, "When do we leave?" His jaw dropped to the ground. He says, "Do you know what you're giving up? Do you know what the cost is for this? You're going to have to leave your children, your grandchildren, your ministry, your friends." And she said, "We're in the ministry. When do we leave?" How will the decision that you're getting ready to make, a new decision that changes your entire life, where will that lead you? What cost is it to you? Another thing to think about is my finances. Most decisions are linked to our to our finances. If we move to go take a position elsewhere, if we decide to move up in the company, how is that going to affect my family life, my children? How will this new decision affect you financially? It is going to be a cost directly to your finance. This new decision may be costly without seeing the immediate results of what is happening. Another thing that we have to take a look at is looking forward has its own results. You looking forward to make some decisions on how your life is going to look. Are you thinking about everybody involved? How it's going to affect their entire life? What will the results be? Will they be good results? Or will be results that say, I should have waited on that one? And many people at this point step off the side of the playing field and take residence up on the sidelines. Having a cost to anything that we do is going to be something that we need to consider. The fourth thing is that every new decision you make affects relationships. Some will agree, some won't agree. I remember when I decided to move from Texas to Colorado, there was a gentleman there that wasn't very well thought of. But he had questions, and he asked me, he said, what is the cost of you moving to Colorado? Taking steps to make new decisions is not always popular, and it may not be always what other people think that we should need. And sometimes by looking forward, we may not see the outcome. We may not see what is going to happen. When you begin to grow by looking forward, you outgrow the previous old life. In downtown Houston, there was a picture on the wall. And on that wall was Jesus. And it was his back of his body. And it read, in order for you to be whole, you must leave old places, old habits, and old friends. Those things there that create a problem, because that cost is not related to them. It's only related to you. And the one thing that I'm going to leave you with, only you can make that costly decision. My name is Ron Ruby, and I hope you enjoyed our session. If you did, please leave me a comment and subscribe to my channel. And you have a very nice day.